Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, Health, Fitness, and Sport. And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love. We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be. So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Kirsten. How are you?
I am coming out of the weeds, so I'm feeling very optimistic.
Excellent. I love to hear that.
I know. We had our final swim meet, our banquet. It was all a big push at the end. And then my day after everything ended was my busy day where I work all day, which is Monday. And then normally Monday evening, I have time to just like regroup. But I took Cora to her first concert.
Oh, where'd you go see?
It's probably most of our listeners are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But it's two Disney franchises. It's a movie called Zombies and a movie called Descendants. And they're musicals. They have a lot of singing and dancing. And the stars of the musicals are a lot of them have albums of their own, or they have moved on to bigger careers, and so they came back. And
that's fun.
Yeah, there's 4 movies of Zombies and 4 movies of Descendants, and so there's a ton of songs, and Cora loves both those movies. We know every word to every song, and it was her first concert. It was huge. It was at the Ball Arena in Denver, and it was really, really fun. I was kind of dreading it at first because I was like, this is going to be a nightmare, but it was super fun. They did a great job at the concert, and we didn't get home till 11:30 p.m., which reminded me why I don't go to concerts. But it was a really good experience for her first concert. So that was definitely my wellness win. We've talked on the podcast before about experiences that we wouldn't necessarily do, and we only do them to appease our partner or our family, and then we end up having a really great experience.
Yeah.
So it was fun. We did the whole thing. We bought shirts, concert shirts. It was, Cora wanted cotton candy and Dippin' Dots, which, little fun fact, if anybody is wondering, there are several flavors of Dippin' Dots that are vegan. So we learned that. So if you guys have kids that are interested in Dippin' Dots, they don't have to miss out if they don't eat dairy or they are vegan, because all that ice flavored, like rainbow ice, lemon ice, cherry ice, if it says ice at the end, they're more of a sorbet or a sherbet. So they don't have dairy.
Does Cora know she's vegan?
Oh yeah. She talks about it all the time. She's very proud of being vegan.
Okay.
Yeah, because now she's in situations where I'm not around. Like she's in and summer camp, and she goes to friends' houses, and she is very proud of being vegan, and she's not afraid to tell her friends that they are eating animals.
Okay.
Which I love. So what's your wellness win?
I traveled to Pennsylvania with my mother to visit my sister.
And what kind of things are you guys doing there?
And she says hi.
Oh, hi.
I went to the beach yesterday. It was like an hour drive, and it was in the Atlantic Ocean, and I just wanted to go see an ocean. And it was really fun because I got to swim a little bit, and you're supposed to pay. You were supposed to pay to get in. And I kind of knew there was a cost. It was called Spring Beach Park, but I thought we were going to go. I didn't know what really we were going to. Like it wasn't the Jersey Shore, so we're in the Jersey, Pennsylvania area. So I'm like, it's not the Jersey Shore. Someone recommended I go here because it's a little bit shorter drive and it's nicer. And I knew there was this fee, but when we got there, there's this, like, we parked, there's this boardwalk, and I just, like, my mom sat on the boardwalk because we weren't prepared for this. So we didn't bring any beach chairs or anything. So she sat on the boardwalk. I had a dress on. I just tore off my clothes and I just ran in. And there was a guy sitting there under an umbrella reading a book. And I'm like, does that guy work here, or is he just someone sitting under an umbrella? And he didn't say anything. And so I got to go do my swim. And then I came out, my mom and I were walking on the boardwalk, and we saw people wearing wristbands, and we saw people that were buying wristbands. And I'm like, Mom, I think we're supposed to pay. But again, we were there for such a short time. I'm glad he didn't flag us to pay, because it's not like we were spending the day there. Basically, I just wanted to go see the ocean and leave, So I was glad I got him free. And then today I went to a state park, and just going to state parks is just a must for me. I just want to go to every state park I can. So that was fun. So no, we're just here, nothing planned, just here to vacation and see my sister.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
speaking of sneaking into the beach and swimming for free, our podcast today is about living life on a budget. So every single person on this planet, or at least in our country, has a certain amount of money, and we all get to choose how we get to spend our money. And there's a lot of different things that we all think are important that we are willing to spend more money on than other things. So if you're someone who maybe you have an expensive hobby, or you like expensive wine or expensive cars, and you want to kind of budget the rest of your activities and the rest of your lifestyle, this would be for you. Or if you just don't make a lot of money and your expenses are really high, but you still want to take care of yourself. We're going to talk about different categories of wellness and how you can do life on a budget to the best you can. So Wendy and I are we have some categories of wellness, things we've been talking about over the last 6 months. And we're each going to give a couple of our best tips for how you can enjoy life a little less expensive, so you can get more more bang for your buck. Like Wendy just did. She snuck into the ocean.
And I didn't even really know I was doing it. Like when we got there and I was kind of looking around, I'm like, did we have to pay for this thing? And I'm like, no, it looks like it's pretty open. I mean, you couldn't see. It was pretty big and pretty open. And I just walked right in. So the guy wasn't paying attention, or he just didn't care. But it made me feel really good, because again, I didn't want to spend $20. $20 $12 to swim for 20 minutes, and then leave. And I probably wouldn't have done it, because I'm on a budget right now. So
right.
I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. In California, because we always go to the beaches in California, they have, in order to park, you go through like a little gate, like you do like in a national park.
That's what I thought I was going to do.
Yeah.
And in the national park that I went to, again, all the state parks in Georgia, you either buy a annual, it's only like $40 for the annual, because I go to state parks almost every week, or you have to pay a $5 or $6 one-time fee. So I was expecting to pay at this state park I went to, and where I went to different places. I was kind of going around like, where exactly should I start my run, or where exactly am I? And there was no charge. There was no fee. And I'm like, okay, that's great. But if there's a fee, I'm willing to pay a state park fee.
Right.
Because
you want to maintain those state parks.
Yeah, I want to maintain, and I want to support these state parks. So I was willing to pay a fee, but there wasn't any. And I was willing to, like, if I had to like pay on my own and put a note on my car, whatever, I'm like, I'm totally ready to pay for this. And I didn't have to. So that was a little budget wellness win today.
Oh, yay.
Free activity.
I know. So we're going to start with nutrition, because I feel like this is, from what I hear from my clients I coach, this is people's perception that eating healthy is really expensive. And so I hear a lot like, I can't eat healthy because it's expensive. And in a way, that is true. Like, there a lot of like fast food and a lot of really cheap, gross food, it's subsidized by large companies to make it cheaper. So like a soda is cheaper than juice, or a soda is cheaper than bottled water, because a lot of the junk food in our country is subsidized. So it's more affordable for people, which is a shame that there's not like broccoli subsidization. kale subsidization. But it's just the way it is right now in our country. So, but Wendy and I, we both do a pretty good job of eating on a budget and eating healthy foods. And we just wanted to mention maybe some plant-based stuff, since we have talked about that before, and Wendy and I are both plant-based. And I do hear very often, I want to eat plant-based, but it's too expensive. And if you go out and buy the like pre-packaged meals that are plant-based, you're right. They are very expensive. Or if you go out to eat, like when Cora and I are traveling, and like we just went to Arizona a few weeks ago, and we had dinner at this vegan restaurant. It was just me, Cora, and then my niece, Sophie. And we wanted to try a bunch of different things, but we ate it all. And it was $75 for 3 people to eat at a restaurant. So, but there are ways to make it more affordable. So Wendy, what tips do you have for eating healthy on a budget?
Well, I think first of all is food preparation, is not relying always on your cafeteria at work or wherever you eat at work or going out to eat. I think that's a total money sucker, because you're not only paying to go out to eat, you're paying the tip, and that always adds up. And I'll always leave a tip, because I used to be a pizza delivery driver and I lived off tips. And so, if you think about going back, I, as a vegan, I love vegetables. I love fruits and vegetables. They can be expensive, and I like certain things organic. There's certain fruits and vegetables that I'm mostly pretty much always going to buy organic now, because it just tastes better. So go to Walmart. Walmart has an organic section. It's actually pretty decent. You don't have to go to Whole Foods to get decent organic fruits and vegetables. And so I think the whole like meal preparation, if you went and bought a big salad somewhere, it's usually in the $15 up to $20 range at a restaurant. But then if you go get the same salad supplies that you would make a salad at home, you can probably make 3 or 4 salads out of the supplies that you pay for one salad if you go out to eat. So it's just really being conscious of grocery store prices. Now, I've also been to Whole Foods where a whole food like tofu or field roasted sausage is cheaper than what I see at Kroger or Publix. That's where I shop in Georgia. And so, things do change, but you just have to be really conscious and have a budget and say, okay, this is my grocery store bill. This is what I want to spend per day or per week or however you want to do it. And just shop around and find the grocery store that fits within your budget. I think when you are someone who says, I'm going to eat fast food because it's cheaper, you're also putting yourself at risk for higher healthcare costs in the future. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, and just so many more health risks that are going to cost you more in the future than rather doing your preventative nutrition care now to prevent that stuff from happening by eating healthy, wholesome, nutrient-dense food.
Yeah. Meal prep is huge, because when I get lazy and I buy already cut up watermelon, I know, it's insane. Like a little thing of already cut up watermelon is $5, and you can buy a giant watermelon and cut it up yourself for $5, and that would fill 8 of those containers.
Right. I've seen a container. I know the $5 containers you're talking about. I've seen one maybe twice as big for $18, and a giant watermelon, whole size watermelon, for $6.99.
Yeah.
I've been in those situations where I so badly want the cut up watermelon, but I'm like, no, I'm not paying $18 because they charge by the pound when they cut that stuff up. And that's why it's so expensive, because watermelon is heavy. Speaking of watermelon, I just had a ton of watermelon. So
that's why I thought of it, because we've been eating a ton of watermelon as well.
Yeah. So just really just like taking the time and doing the preparations.
Right. And if you do have time to shop around, and I'm sure, I don't know if you guys know of an app, because I'm sure there's an app that compares prices at your local stores. There's gotta be. If you know of it, let us know. Leave it in the comments so everyone can go find this app. I'm sure there's an app that compares prices. But yeah, if you have time to shop around, like Wendy said, something might be on sale for half the price at a certain store, and you might live in an area. I live in an area where I am within a couple miles of probably 5 different grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
King Soopers, Safeway, Walmart, Whole Foods, and Sprouts. They're all within a couple miles of my house. So shopping around, and then buying things that are on sale. So if you aren't somebody who you don't plan your meals, you just go to the store and be like, oh, I wonder what I want. You can look through and be like, oh, strawberries are on sale, so let's make something with strawberries this week. Or bok choy is on sale, so let's make something with bok choy this week. So you can shop by sale.
Yeah, like there's some times where I go to the grocery store for something, and it's a buy one get one.
Yeah.
So I'll buy one get one, and then I remember, oh, sometimes this is usually buy one get one, and if I go there and it's not buy one get one, I won't get it. I'll wait. Like I'm really into this Kashi Harvest Cinnamon Crunch cereal. Like maybe once a month or every other week, it's buy one get one. So I only will buy it buy one get one. I won't even buy it if it's not. I'll figure something else out. So I think that's really important. Is someone, something like frequent shopping. Buy what you need, use it, and then go back to the grocery store instead of buying like everything once a week and then things go bad and you end up tossing things away. It's a huge waste of money. So I'm someone I like to go buy something, get something that I want for that day, and then maybe for 3 days total, because I don't want anything to go to waste.
Right. So I have I have 2 tips. One is, my first one might be a little controversial because I get my groceries delivered, and I've talked to my mom about this because she's like, well, isn't there a fee to get it delivered? And there is a fee. But I've also gone into grocery stores over the last few years and spent twice as much as I was planning to, because when I see things, it makes me want it. Like I'm the perfect, like commercial makers love me. I see a commercial and I have to have it. Or I walk into a certain store and I have to get something. And so for me, when I go online and pick out my groceries, I only get what I need. When I walk into a store to get groceries and I pass by everything else in the store, I end up with junk food I don't need, a Squishmallow for Cora, a plant, and 2 snacks because I'm hungry. And so I actually save money by shopping online, getting my groceries delivered. You can also shop online and then pick up your groceries, and it's free at most grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
So just going online and saying, this is what I need for the week or for the next 3 days or however long you shop for, can often save you money and keep you from doing impulse shopping, which could save your health and calories, because most impulse shopping is a bunch of junk food, and save money because there's always a Squishmallow there that I have to have it. And they like $20. Cora does not need another Squishmallow. So that's my first one. My second one is something I discovered, and I'm sure they have these in every city. So I live in Colorado, and we have a food bank that gives it, all the food is like either just about to expire or just recently expired. And you go in, you make an appointment, and then you just go in and it's like you're shopping. Like you have a grocery cart and you're allowed like 2 frozen foods, 3 vegetables, 4 fruits, and they have a ton of options. So I've been getting, so one of the foods I love is meaty. It's MEATI, and it's meat replacement made with mushrooms. And I love it. If you go to like Whole Foods, it's usually like $18.99 for 2 little cutlets. It's super expensive. So it's one of those things when people are like, oh, being vegan is expensive. That is very expensive. I've never bought them from Whole Foods. There's some other stores that maybe have them on sale for like $11.99 or $12.99, but I've never seen it cheaper than that. So that's one thing that I get very often at the food bank. But they always have tons of fruits and vegetables, and they're the fruits and vegetables that nobody is going to pick out. So the apple might have a little bruise, or the orange might have some scrapes on it, or the avocados are very, very ripe. They need to be used today. But you get a whole huge bag of fruits and vegetables. And again, if you don't mind eating a banana with a bruise on it, then this is perfect. But because everything's either damaged, like the container is damaged, like I got this huge thing of coconut water in a carton, but like one of the little things is flipped up, like the things that hold down the carton. So it's not open, but they can't sell that for $10 at Whole Foods,
right,
when the package is damaged. So looking for places like that, like, so the one that I go to in Colorado, you can go once a month, and they weigh your food at the end because they need to know how much food they're giving away. And typically it's between 50 and 60 pounds of food that I get every single month. And again, it's stuff that would have been thrown away. So I feel really good about eating it. It saves me money. It gives me a big variety of foods that maybe I've never tried before. Or maybe I like one of the vegan sausages was these sun-dried tomato sausages that I had never tried. And I was like, wow, these are really good. I made a little pasta thing out of them. So, looking at what do your grocery stores do in your area with the expired food, the damaged food. And a lot of times, because the food bank I go to, it's whole, like there's a ton of stuff from Whole Foods, like the prepackaged, like the sesame tofu, but it expired that day. So they have to pull it off their shelves. They give it to the food bank, and then I get a huge thing of tofu that if I went and got it, it was $18. So that's my other tip, is look for places that you can go to and get this almost expired or damaged packaging for either really low cost or even no cost at all. And then, like I said, like where I go gets tons and tons of fruits and vegetables. So you're looking at health, and they have meat and eggs and stuff. Obviously, I don't get that. But if we're looking for nutrition on a budget, not just food, because you can go get 6 boxes of crappy cereal for $10 at any grocery store.
You can go to the dollar store.
Cereal is subsidized.
And again, the dollar store, I just went to a Dollar Tree twice in 1 month, and I've never been there. And they have, I'm like, okay, they have some stuff that I normally would get at a grocery store, and it's cheaper at the dollar store. And they probably have like enough wholesome, nutrient dense, like canned soups that aren't so bad for you. So again, the dollar store is just like a Walmart. Check it out.
Yeah. And it's like anything, what Wendy said at the beginning, it's meal prep, food prep, planning in advance. Because if because I've heard of people getting groceries at dollar store too that are really inexpensive compared to at a grocery store, and it could be the same exact brand. So if okay, these are 6 things that I eat twice a month. So once a month, I'm going to go to the dollar store and spend $12 instead of getting the 12 items at a grocery store for 3 times as much. It's worth taking that extra trip to the dollar store. You can also order dollar store online. All right, let's move on to our next topic. And I feel like that was the topic we were going to spend most time on, because to me, food is the biggest thing that people are like, I can't afford it.
Right. Me too.
So our next topic is fitness, exercise, getting your workouts in, going to the gym, all that. What are some of your budget tips for fitness?
Well, you don't need a gym to work out. You just need to be outside, and you can go outside and play. You can play in your house. You can create your own home gym if you want to. Again, going to places like Walmart or the dollar store to get fitness equipment. Shop online. There's just 1,000 places online, like Swim Outlet that always has 80% off bands and other types of fitness equipment. Amazon, there's just a lot of ways to get fit. And I think the easiest one, if you're someone who's not into sport, go for a walk. It's free. Join a walking program, join your local walking program. We had something, I wish I remember the name of it. It was based out of a lot of different areas, but the Fort Collins Club where I used to work at, people would come in from out of state and say, do you have this program here? And I remember looking in a file folder and telling them we do have this. This is when they meet. This is what we offer. And it was just they didn't have to join the club to do it. It was just a free meeting of walkers that happened like once a month. And again, I can't remember the name, but walking is a great way to build some fitness. And doing body weight exercises, again, you don't need equipment to do strength training. You can do the core push-ups. You can do scapular push-ups for your back or pull-ups for your back. Just thinking of the major muscle groups, you can do tricep dips for your triceps. You can do body weight squats, body weight lunges, planks. There's a million core exercises you can do. And you can do a lot of different things for your shoulders that you don't need equipment for. And again, it doesn't have to be a time consuming event either. You can do it, when you wake up in the morning, do it before you go to bed. Just make sure, again, you plan it and you schedule it into your day.
Yeah. And that's if you are wanting some equipment to have at home, another really inexpensive place to find stuff like that is like Craigslist, eBay, secondhand stuff, the thrift store. You guys, the thrift store, you can go and get I've seen dumbbells. So dumbbells are typically $1 a pound. That's like what retail price for dumbbells are. So if you wanted two $20 dumbbells, that's going to be $40. But I've seen dumbbells at the thrift store for $5 for two 20s. Like,
right. And if you wanted 5 pounds, probably a can of soup.
Right.
Adds up to be a 5-pound dumbbell. I remember just during COVID, all these different ways people were using what they had at home to create some resistance so they could do their strength training when they weren't prepared, and they used different things that they had at home. They'd fill a laundry basket with something, or they'd carry around their backpacks full of stuff, or they would do, presses with their child, depending on how big the child was. I just remember seeing all these creative
videos
to use what they had to create the resistance that they needed to get their workout in.
I was laughing right when you said that because I totally forgot about this because that was like 5 years ago. But I remember a video, somebody posting that they put like oil, like cooking oil on their floor, and they were doing it to be funny, and they were like running on it like it was a treadmill.
Like it was a treadmill. Yeah. I'm sure I saw that too. That's awesome.
It was hilarious. In swimmers, they were like buying those like 3 feet, 9 foot long, like pools that you would buy at Walmart and bungeeing themselves.
Yep.
And just filling it with water with their hose.
Yeah. I remember that too.
So you reminded me when you were first talking about the group. So Meetup is still a thing. So when I 20 years ago, when I was starting my own businesses, we used Meetup. It's meetup.com, MEETUP. It's a place where you can find people in your area, groups of people with similar interests. And on Meetup, they always have a hiking group or a running group or a walking group, like you said. Tons and tons of stuff on Meetup, so you can find like-minded people if you're somebody who needs accountability to be able to get through exercise.
And you just reminded me, I used to go to, again, especially in the beginning of COVID when everything was shut down for a few months, going to the playground. And you can do a lot of fun fitness stuff at a playground.
Monkey bars.
You just have that creative mindset. And I remember at first, like the playground, like no one was there and you didn't want to touch anything. So you just, I just had my hand wipes and sanitizer with me. So I would go play on some stuff, and then I'd make sure I washed my hands and did all that sanitary stuff that we were supposed to do back then. But there's just so many creative ways you can get your workout in your house or outside.
Yeah. And another really simple way, because I talk to a lot of people who they're like, I don't like working out. I don't like running. I don't like biking. I don't like any of this stuff. So I asked them, do you like music? Do you like dancing around? So a free, if you just turn on some music, wherever you listen to your music, crank it up. You can put headphones or just crank it through your house and just jump around, dance around, give yourself a dance party. I promise, I don't care how fit you are. If you dance party by yourself like crazy for 10 minutes, you're going to be exhausted because you're using all the muscles, head banging, throwing your arms around, squatting down low, doing all your dance moves. And that'd be a great mental release as well.
Yeah.
So then the last thing I thought of is YouTube is free. And you could go on and search, and there are hundreds and hundreds of fitness people who have workouts. Any kind of workout, search it on YouTube. They have free videos. You could find ones that don't need equipment, like Wendy said, functional training stuff like push-ups, squats, dips, lunges, crunches, planks, stuff like that. You can find yoga videos. You can find Pilates videos. You can find cardio videos. You can find dance routines. Anything you're looking for, you guys, YouTube has it 100%, and it's free, and it'll give you some structure if don't feel like you're creative enough to make something up and you don't want to go somewhere to get your workout. Anything else you can think of, Wendy?
No, I think again, that person who just doesn't like to sweat, just move. Again, walking doesn't mean sweating unless it's a heat wave.
Unless you're in Georgia.
Yeah, unless you're going through the heat wave like we are right now. But there's just a lot of ways, like you said, find something you enjoy doing and just move.
Yeah. All right. Our third category today is self-care. So self-care is kind of like, people think, oh, I can't take care of myself because I don't have enough money for a manicure, or I don't have enough money to get a massage. And I used to, for one of my businesses, one of the ways I connected with people is on Facebook. I would send every person who had a birthday a happy birthday message. And I was like, what are you doing to celebrate yourself today? Which goes along our lines of self-care. And I would say half the people would say, nothing, I don't have any money. So like when I asked, how are you celebrating your birthday? How are you celebrating yourself? 50% of the people, their mind went to going out or going somewhere or spending money on themselves. And I was thinking like, no, Wendy and I had a whole podcast on celebrating ourselves by doing like a fun workout or something.
Right. My annual birthday self-care is doing my age, something active in the number of my age. So if I'm 50, I'm going to do 50 of something, whether it's 50 burpees, 50 push-ups, 50 miles of something, or a combination of 50 miles of swim, bike, run, or 50 minutes or 5.0, or I'm going to do something active. That's how I like to celebrate my birthday. And when I'm thinking of self-care, I'm thinking of stuff we've talked about in previous podcasts, wearing sunscreen, protecting your skin, oral hygiene, making sure you're brushing your teeth, flossing your teeth at least once a day, making sure you're going to sleep hygiene, going to bed.
Naps are free, you guys.
Yeah, taking
Talk
naps.
about an activity that's free, that is going to give you the most bang for your buck, is taking a nap.
It's taking naps. So there's just a lot of the self-care. When I think of self-care, I think of preventative medicine. Doing things that you can do for free, maintaining it, like the skincare, the brushing your teeth, the making sure you're getting a lot of rest, the stress management things we've talked about, so you don't get sick and have to spend a lot more on healthcare or at the doctor's office.
You just reminded me of something huge when you're talking about preventative care, preventative maintenance. If you want to really take care of yourself at a low cost, most of us are already paying for some sort of insurance. health insurance, something like that. Look into your health insurance and see what it covers, because all my health insurances I've ever had have covered mental health, which is seeing a therapist. If you're not taking advantage of, and again, I don't know all insurances, but I'm saying look into what yours offers, because if you can go to a therapist for free, or you could do physical therapy for free, or you could go to the chiropractor, or you could get your skin checked out by a dermatologist. You can get your annual mammogram. You can get your colonoscopy. You can get a physical. If this is included in your insurance that you're already paying for, or has a really low cost fee that you pay for a visit, these to me would be very low cost, budget friendly ways to improve your mental, physical, and emotional well-being.
Agree. Totally. 100%. Good call.
So that would, and then the only other thing I was thinking about for self-care is, if you like the, the massage or the manicure, the pedicure, or something like that, you can still do these things. Maybe trade with a friend. Say, like, I'll give you a manicure if you give me a manicure, or put your foot in those like little beaded foot bath things and share that with your friend. Or I used to go to a massage school to get my massages from people who were just learning to massage. And I don't know what it would cost nowadays, because I'm sure inflation has gone up. But back when I was doing this, it was like $20 for an hour. And it was an amazing massage. They're like second year students. Mm-hmm. So going to massage school, my friend has gotten so much dental work done, which is for her health and her self-confidence. She goes to a dental school. So she has students that do it, and she's gotten like crowns for like $500, which normally they're like $2,000 or $3,000. Mm-hmm. So looking at, if you have a friend who's going to beauty school and she's practicing cutting hair, let her do your hair. That's self-care. Having people pamper you and spoil you is self-care, and it doesn't have to be $200 to go get your hair cut. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. So look at, people just coming up in their trade, people just learning to do things. I actually just added to my personal training app this food meal planning add-on, where people can go in and put what their preferences are, what their goals are, what they want their macros to be, what all this information, like tons of information, and it gives you meal plan with shopping lists and recipes and everything. And it costs me a lot of money to add it to the app, but I've never offered that to anybody yet. So I don't know how well it works. So I'm offering my sister-in-law, because I just started working with her, a discount. Not a discount. I'm offering it to her for free. Mm-hmm. So to try it out for me. So she could tell me, this works well. People are going to love this. This is worth this amount of money, because I don't know yet. So I don't want to go and like charge people for it, even though I'm upfront paying for it. So find people who just got their personal training certification and they need to practice on you. Find someone who just learned to teach swim lessons and they need to practice on your kids. Yeah. Usually those people are going to put
all the time.
Yeah. Usually those people are going to put more than 100% effort into it because they're learning.
Yeah.
And those are all
and they want a good testimonial.
Yes. And then you can offer them a testimonial. Awesome. So we covered preventative maintenance as well, because that was one of our topics. Was there anything you wanted to add with preventative maintenance?
No, I think that's the best way to budget your health and wellness and fitness, preventative stuff.
And Wendy and I have talked about this before, especially about the hormones thing, is if your insurance pays for you to get blood work done every year, get your blood work done every year. You're leaving things on the table if you're already paying for insurance and you're not taking advantage of everything that your insurance covers. So that's my
That's a
pedestal
good
for
one.
that. We did want to mention triathlon because we know we have a lot of triathletes out there. We talked about this a little bit last week about how triathlon doesn't have to be expensive. But just a refresher in case you guys missed that episode, Wendy, what are a couple things that you would say for triathletes who want to either join the sport or stay in the sport and they're like, this is too expensive?
I have a whole blog on my website about triathlon on a budget. So I think first and foremost, gear. What do you need to do a triathlon? You need a swimsuit, a bike, a helmet. You need shoes to bike and run in, and they can be the same shoes.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't need shoes to bike in. It's definitely nice to have.
Yeah, but you need a pair of shoes to bike and run in, and you can do a triathlon.
Yeah.
You know, the extras, the nice extras that are affordable are a visor or a hat, a racing belt to put your bib number on, a one piece like triathlon kit, but you don't even need that. You could do the whole thing in your swimsuit.
Wendy and I have both done that. We talked about that last week.
You can spend money on a wetsuit, but that's another optional. So everything else is really optional. I think people get really hung up on gear, which I never have because I started 33 years ago, like you have as well, when the gear wasn't all that prevalent. And so it can be done. As far as races go, you can race local races, definitely are nice for a budget friendly option to do events. You can even do an iron distance event that's not a World Triathlon Corporation branded event, an Ironman event. That's a few $100 cheaper than the actual World Triathlon Ironman brand event. And so it's just, again, focusing on your why, your reason, what you need, but definitely creating a budget for yourself about what you want to spend on the gear, the bike shoes, the helmet, the clothing, the running, the swimming stuff is nice to know ahead of time before you go shopping. And the best advice I ever got when I was trying to upgrade from a mountain bike to a road bike, they said, don't buy the first road bike you ride, which I wanted to because it was just amazing, and get a bike fit. I think a bike fit is definitely money worth spending. But, it's just Ironman is expensive, but triathlon doesn't have to be.
Right. And we actually last week, we also talked about a couple specific races that were less expensive. So go back and listen to that for some more specifics about this topic. The two things I wanted to add are you can not every race, but many races, you can volunteer for either a discount or a free race.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes a huge difference. So I volunteer. Today is Thursday. Every Thursday night in the summer, we have a race in Boulder called Stroke and Stride, and it's a swim run series. And a lot of people use it for training. Some people just like to do the whole series, and because you get points for every race, and then you get series awards and stuff like that. But for the past 10 to 12 years, I've been volunteering at every single one. And if I volunteer, I race for free. And so I get there, the race doesn't start till 6. I get there at 4:30 every Thursday. I do chip handout. If you're there tonight or any night, any Thursday night, you'll see me handing out timing chips. And then at like 10 minutes before the race starts, I go get ready for the race. I run down, I do the race, and then I go home. So I haven't paid for a Stroke and Stride in 10 to 12 years. I volunteer every single race. So I know a ton of race directors that have volunteer programs. Like you volunteer a certain number of hours and you can race for free, or you get credit toward an upcoming race. Mm-hmm. So check those out, especially more like smaller local companies will do that. The bigger international companies probably don't have a program like that. But I know that most local races do have some sort of volunteer program, and then you can race for free or discount. So that was one thing that I thought of, because I've done that a ton over the years because I like to race a lot. And then the other thing I thought of is there are so many people, and Wendy can name 100 off the top of her head, and I can name 100, who really want to do a triathlon, who go out and buy all the gear, and they do one race and they're done, which is fine. I'm not judging that at all, because I've done things before that were one and done, and I was like, yep, that's not for me. I'm never doing that again. But a lot of those people, they bought a bike, or they bought the shoes, or they bought a race helmet, or they bought a race belt, or a tri-kit. They do one race, they decide it's not really for them, and they have all this gear that they want to get rid of. And they're going to get rid of it at a really, really great price. So if you know someone who does triathlon, you could ask them. Say, are you in any triathlon groups? Do you know of anyone selling this or that? A few years ago, my friend wanted to get into triathlon, and she knew nothing about it. And she was just like getting back on her feet after a really bad divorce. And I'm in a Facebook group, Colorado Endurance Girls. It's like at least 1,000 women in Colorado who do long distance triathlon. And I said, hey, I have a friend. She's in a bad situation. She wants to start doing triathlon. Does anybody have a really inexpensive bike laying around that she could buy for super cheap? She'd never ridden a bike, so she would take whatever. Somebody actually said, yeah, we have an old Trek road bike laying around. It's 20 years old. We don't do anything with it. It probably needs a tune-up. We'll give it to her.
Nice.
This was like 3 or 4 years ago, and she's still riding the same bike. She's gotten a couple things done to it, obviously, like to keep it maintained, but she's still riding that free bike that she got 4 years ago. So ask around, you guys. There are lots of people that have stuff that just want to get rid of it because it's cluttering up their house.
Mm-hmm.
And she also, my same friend, she's also bought 2 really cute kits from a thrift store. I don't know which one, Goodwill, ARC, whatever it was.
I've donated triathlon clothing and cycling clothing to thrift stores.
Yeah. So look, and they're going to market. So I actually bought online on I think Poshmark or eBay or something, a Betty swimsuit Betty swimsuits are like $100. $120, I think, new. And if they're on sale, they're like $100. Whoever was selling it didn't know that, because she was selling it for $10. And I've looked on Poshmark and other places for Poshmark, I think it's called. I probably just said it totally wrong. For swimsuits, and I've gotten really good deals, like $60 or $50 or $40 for a suit, but I'd never seen for 10. So I'm like, she must not know the retail value of this. Mm-hmm. And I bought it. It fits perfectly. I've had it for like 3 years. It was $10. Mm-hmm. So yeah, look at used stuff. Most of the used stuff people have used a couple of times, and they'll let you know.
Yeah. And I think like nutritional product support. Lots of companies will partner with you, sponsor you, give you 30% discount. You just need to apply. Like Noon Hydration, they're electrolyte tablets. Basically, you apply, you're going to be on, you're going to get a discount. I know people who use Honey Stinger. I get their email all the time. I don't like Honey Stinger, but Honey Stinger will give you 30% off on their products as well. So it's just asking around and doing the research. If there's a certain nutrition product that you like, go on their website and see if they have some sort of partnership discount program for you.
On that note, I drink Athletic Greens, mm-hmm. and it's like $80 for a month. And I was trying to save money at the beginning of the year and decided, I'm not going to spend any money in January on anything. Well, I ran out like the first week of January, and I'm like, I'll just wait until February to buy it. But then like a week later, I got sick, and I was like, I stopped taking my supplements and I get sick. I really need to get this product. But again, $80 a month for a supplement, even though it keeps me healthy and I love it, it was just a lot at the time. And so I went on eBay And I have a little I never knew this about eBay because I'd never shopped on it. But I went on eBay and I saw several people selling it for less than retail. And so I was kind of like doing some research. So I was putting it in my shopping cart just to compare. And then I forgot about it for a couple days. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm getting these emails and they're like, so-and-so is offering 30% off. So I guess what eBay sellers do is if they see that somebody has favorited or liked or put in their shopping cart one of their products but doesn't buy it, they'll send you a message with a discount offer. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And so now if I'm looking for something like that, I'll go to eBay and put it in my cart, but don't buy it. And then a couple days later, I get a message like, do you want this? I'll give you 30% off. I'm like, yes, I do. And so I ended up buying, it had expired. So it was in February of 2025 and it expired February of 2025. So it was like expiring that month, but it's a supplement. It's not going to magically stop working on February 1st, 2025. So I ended up buying it for $15.
Nice.
And it was like brand new, never opened. It was just expiring that month. And I got it because people had extra and they wanted to get rid of it. So they're going to sell it at a really good price. So those are the things that just being aware of, those options out there could save you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Our final category, and we've kind of touched on it before throughout this episode, but it's really important to both me and Wendy, and that is stress and mental health. And I do have people that are like, oh, it's so expensive to go to, to get help from a therapist or whatever. So what are some of your budget tips for stress and mental health?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, there's so many books, podcasts, reputable, that's what they talk about. They're there for you. It's free to listen to a podcast about mental health and self-help categories. Maybe it's not their current topic is for you, but if you look back on certain podcasts, you can go back and listen and be like, oh my gosh, this person knows me. How did they know I'm going through this right now? And so kind of doing that little bit of research yourself, journaling, getting it off your chest, whether you communicate by journaling it, communicate it with your best friend or spouse, and just to really talk things through and get it off your mind. Just getting recommendations on certain therapists. I mean, depending on what kind of mental health issue you may be going through, that's one thing that I think is worth looking at your insurance, like you said, if they cover it. But that's something that I think is definitely worth spending money on, is your mental health. And again, the mental health is such a broad topic, but trying to manage your stress better by again, going back to nutrition and sleep. If you can manage your nutrition for you and manage your sleep, where you're getting more sleep and healthier nutrient dense foods, sometimes that can help your mental issue that you're going through. But yeah, therapy can be expensive, but doing your own research and figuring out what you can afford, it's definitely something worth taking care of.
Yeah. And there's a lot of therapists out there that work on a sliding scale. So depending on what your income is, they will work with you on pricing. And then I know and I have not checked this out. I should, because I think I've mentioned it 3 times on our podcast. But there's it's called betterhealth.com. And it is a kind of an online therapy. And I know it's a lot less expensive. And you could do a search for whatever your issue is you're dealing with. So you can get someone who specializes in that. And you can do video. You could do chat if you don't want them to see your face. I used something similar, like 10, I don't know how long ago. It was when I was married. So it was at least 8 years ago, to work on some issues that I had. Like it's like an emergency in the middle of the night. Like I needed help with an issue. And I found online and we just chatted, and it was fraction of the cost of therapy. I want to say, if I remember correctly, it's probably like $20 for like 30 or 45-minute session.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so helpful. It talked me off the ledge. And that was 15 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever it was. So nowadays, I bet it's even so much better. So the one that I've heard of is called betterhealth.com.
Mm-hmm.
And so that might be an option as well if you're absolutely needing to talk to somebody and it's a mental emergency.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of mental emergencies can be relieved by finding the right person to talk to and listen to.
Yeah. And it just developing a strong support system around you is
Mm-hmm.
going to help in all areas of wellness. But yeah, especially mental and emotional things that come up in your life.
Yep.
100%. There was one other thing I thought of and I can't remember. So, adopting a pet. I know there are some costs associated with it. There's obviously costs of having a pet. But I just know that on days where I feel like I'm about to explode, when my dogs come and like snuggle me, or I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, can't move, and they just come and like, snuggle up in my lap or look up at me or like give me a little like lick or a little nudge with their nose. It's like made a huge difference in my life.
Unconditional love.
Yes, very, very much. Any last budget things that you can think of that we haven't covered?
No, I think we covered a lot. I mean, it all goes back to prevention, recognition, prevention.
Yeah. One thing that I did think of that we didn't even put in as a topic and I just wanted to mention is relationships and date nights. Because I know a lot of people plan a date night or they're like, oh, I can't do a date night because it's too expensive. You might have 5 kids and you can't get a babysitter because that would be $100 an hour these days with babysitting costs.
Okay, I'm in the right business.
I know. When I babysat when I was a kid, it was $2 an hour.
Yeah, I do.
Like a whole family.
Yeah.
And I had a babysitter one time when Cora was a baby because I had to work and my mom was out of town and her dad was out. I had a babysitter for like 4 hours and I was like, how much do you charge? And she's like $20 an hour. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
So anyway, so two tips I have for that, for date night relationships on a budget is there are so many things that don't cost money. Go for a walk, go window shopping. Like I bet you could Google or Chat GPT free date night ideas. So
Cook
just know there's so
together.
many. What was that?
Cook a meal together.
Well, I was talking about getting out of the house if you have a bunch of kids.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking first date or like like dating.
Oh, like dating. Yeah. Dating stuff. Go for a walk, cook a meal together, stuff like that. But for date night, for a relationship, one thing that my sister did when her kids, she has 3 kids. And her and her husband did a date night every week. They'd go to a movie. They would like split a popcorn, get discount tickets online. And they had 2 other families. No, there was 4 families. And each one picked a month. And each one picked a week of the month and had all the kids.
Oh, nice.
So then 3 weeks a month, you get to have a date night with free babysitting. And then 1 week a month, you have like 8 kids at your house. But they're all like hanging out together, watching a movie, doing whatever. So she did that for years and years and years. And it allowed her and her husband to have date nights 3 out of 4 weeks of the month with no childcare costs.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that in because I thought of it when we were thinking like, don't use money as an excuse not to go on a date with your significant other.
Yeah.
So what are you most excited about for this upcoming week, Wendy?
I don't have a lot really going on. A new schedule. Kids go back to school. So I'm no longer coaching in the morning and I've been off this week. That's why I've been traveling because I don't coach the kids this week. And so new schedule, we go back to evening practices. I have a love-hate relationship with that type of schedule, but I also like changes too. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm most excited about, like I mentioned in the onset, is I'm like out of the weeds. Like my 80-hour weeks of me going crazy are done. And so little by little this past week, I've been just doing like there'll be a corner that's like dirty, and I'll like wipe it out, or I'll take like a box of recyclables out, just a couple things each day. And then when I wake up, I'm like, oh, look at this clean corner. And so it's like opening me up for like, so I'm, instead of trying to do everything at once is what I used to do, and then got nothing done and was really stressed out. I'm like, over the next month, so it gives me the whole next month, the whole month of August, I'm just going to do a little bit each day to get back on track to feeling calm.
Good.
So it started this week. So that's what I'm most looking forward to over the next week. So we would love to hear your guys' budget tips. If we missed anything, if we got some information wrong, which is always a thing, please let us know. Reach out. You can comment here. You can reach out to us individually. I think every single person who listens to our podcast knows one of us or both of us. So reach out to us and let us know what you want to hear about, what's on your mind, and anything else. We're open to listening.
Yeah, I like our Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions about anything and you want to do another question and answer, that's always fun to do.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that next week. So send us your questions. All right. Thanks for being here.
Bye. Make it a great day.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes. We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review. And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week. Thanks for listening. Make it a great day.